This is another video for JAMB 2026 Mathematics, and this will be the second series, or this will be the second video in this very series. Remember to make sure that your resolution is set to full screen, as I'll be treating 40 exam questions in 2026. So if you're writing JAMB this year and there's maths in it, you need to stay to the end of this very video. So there are going to be different clips. Depending on when you're writing, they're going to reshuffle the questions. So take note of these questions. Now, you have to pay attention. You could pause the video and try to solve the questions. They'll be displayed on the screen. My name is Dr. Arithmetic. Remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and then leave a comment, because there's a lot where this is coming from. Okay. So if you're writing JAMB this year, let's get started. Enough of the talk. You already watched the first series, so that's an intro to what this would be. So the first question says, which inequality is represented in the diagram above? So this is the inequality that we have. So the options are like, which of the following will be the inequality? First of all, we have 13, and of course there will be x. Now, because the arrow is pointing to this direction, this will be greater than. And then because this part is shaded, this would be equal to. So the answer to that question is going to be C. That will be, this is minus 13. Sorry, this is minus 13. So the answer is going to be C. So that will be the answer to the question. Remember, pause the video, try to solve each question. Share this video to your friends. Don't hold it to yourself. Share it across to your friends. So the second one, find the range of values of x for which 5 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 17. So this is inequality. We have 5 minus 3x greater than or equal to 17. So the first thing we want to do is to collect like terms. This will be minus 3x greater than or equal to 17 minus 5. Because if this 5 comes over, it's going to become minus. So this is minus 3s greater than or equal to 17 minus 5 is 12. Now to get the value of x, we have to divide by minus 3. So divide by minus 3. So minus 3x divided by minus 3 is greater than or equal to 12 divided by minus 3. So minus we cancel out minus, 3 we cancel out 3. So x is greater than or equal to minus 4. Now, I know that a student will solve it this way, but then there's a trick about inequalities. Whenever you divide by a negative number, always change the sign. So this sign ought to be changed. So if you solve it like this, you're going to be wrong. So what you have to do is to remember to always change the sign. So this will be less than or equal to, because I divided by a negative number. Let's go to the next question. The next question says, simplify log, 4 log x minus 2 minus 2 log x minus 3. Now if you look at that question, the options have a single log. So what it means is we need to make this a single log. To make this a single log, there should be no 4 in front. So let's take this 4 back to where it's coming from. So this will be log x minus 2 to the power of 4. So the 4 goes back here. That's in the laws of logarithm. And then minus log x minus 3. Now these two could come back here, so that becomes a square. So that's what we have. And the next thing is to remember that in logarithms, if you are subtracting, there's a law in logarithm, if you are subtracting, you must divide the numbers. So this will become a big log, and then we're going to say x minus 2 to the power of 4 divided by x minus 3 to the power of 2. And then if you look at the option, C will be the right answer to the question. So that's the right option. Question C is going to be the right one. Let's take a look at the next one, question number 4. Remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video. You could set this video to be full screen. It has to be full screen, so that you get everything into the frame. And then increase the quality also. There's a setting. As you're watching this video, you can increase the quality. All right. So question 4 says we have 27 to the power of 2 27 squared, and then to the power of minus 1 over 3. Okay, so this is what we have. Now what we're going to do here is kind of easy. So first things first. So this is minus 1 over 3. So this is 27 squared times minus 1 over 3. So you can write it like this, because these two powers will then multiply. So this will be 27. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2 over 3. Now, the 27 you see here can be written as 3 to the power of 3. Because 27, when 3 goes in the first time, you get 9. 3 again is 3. 3 again is 1. So we have 3 in 3 places. So that's why it's 3 to the power of 3. And then times your minus 2 over 3. Now 3 can cancel out 3 here. So the what will be left to become 3 to the power of minus 2. Now to clear out a negative exponent, all we have to do is to say 1 over. Once we say 1 over, the minus goes away. So this will be 3 squared. And then we're going to have 1 over. 3 squared is 3 times 3, so that's 9. So the answer to that question is going to be A. Let's move on to the next one, number 5. We have to simplify minus log 10, 0.00001. So that's what we have to do. All right. Now, in logarithms, we could write this in standard form. So this is minus log base 10. This is standard form. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be 10 to the power of minus 5. Or you could say 1 times 10 to the power of minus 5. And of course, log 1 is 0, so it's not necessary. That's why I just wrote 10 to the power of minus 5. Now this is minus. In logarithms, this could come back to where the minus is. Remember that this is why I took it here, so you can also take it back in front of the logarithm. So this minus 5 here, I took it back. So this will be minus 5. And then log 10, 10. Now minus times minus is plus, so that would just be 5. Because log 10, 10 is 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. So that will be the answer to that very equation, and the answer is A. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. A particle is moving along a straight line and travels x meters in t seconds, where x is equal t cubed plus t, take away 3. You have to find the acceleration of the particle after 1 second. All right, now this question is actually in the application of differentiation. So it's calculus. Now, the x here is the displacement or the distance traveled. So we have to differentiate this. ds dt, this is the first derivative. Let's differentiate this. So t cubed, this will give us 3t squared, plus this is t here. So this very t will just give you 1 when you differentiate. I think let me explain better. So there's a 1 here, there's a 1 here, and there's a 1 as a power. 1 times 1 is 1. Then you say t, then 1 minus 1. It's in the laws of differentiation. So this will be 3t squared plus 1t to the power of 0. So this is 3t squared plus 1. Because t to the power of 0 is still 1. So this is what we have. Now this very thing you found is the velocity. Because it's the first derivative. So we have meter per second. Because s is in meter, the time is in seconds. So what we've just found is the velocity, not acceleration. Now to get acceleration again, we need to differentiate this again. So this will be d squared s by dt squared. Or you could say dv dt. Because when you differentiate velocity, you get differentiate velocity with respect to time, you get the acceleration. So this will then become, when you differentiate 3t squared, this will be 6t. And then you've gotten the acceleration. This will be the equation for the acceleration. Now, it says at t equal 1 second. So anywhere you see t, you put 1. So this will be 6 times 1. So this will be 6 at the end of the day. And it will be meter per second squared. So the answer is going to be D. That's what the answer is going to be, D. Let's move on to the next question. Remember, you can pause when the question shows up, you pause the video and you watch, try to solve the question before moving to my solution. That's how you're going to learn. Make sure you watch it and try to solve the question yourself before looking for my solution. So question 7 says, all the letters of the word MCOT, I don't know what that means, but EAMCOT are arranged in different possible ways. Find the number of arrangements in which no two vowels are adjacent to each other. EAMCOT. Now, we're looking for the number of ways that we're going to arrange this so that the vowels are not together. There's a way I used to solve this question. First things first, I want to solve it when the vowels are together, because adjacent means they're together. So I want to solve it when the vowels are together. So, first of all, no restriction. Let's do no restriction. That is, we are going to arrange this in any way at all, like no restriction at all. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters divided by, is there any repetition? No, no repetition. So what is 6 factorial? 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So this will be 720 ways. But remember, this is not the answer. This is just when there's no restriction, the possible number of ways you can arrange this. This is it. So now, let's write it again, EAMCOT. Now this time around, I want all the vowels to be together. So let all vowels be together. So we have E, A, and O. These are the vowels. So we have E, A, and O. We want them to be together. And then what's going to be left is M, C, T. Now, how many ways can I arrange the vowels being together? So vowels together, vowels together. This will equal, now how many ways do I have here? If the vowels have to be together, that means this will just become one alphabet or one letter. This will be considered as 1 because they have to be together. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 factorial. And then, is there any repetition here? There's no repetition with the vowels. There's no repetition with the consonant. Okay, this is the consonant, this is the vowel. So there's no repetition with the vowel, no repetition with the consonant. Now, in the exam hall, you might want to call this a new letter. Maybe you might want to call this a new letter. So you have UMCT. So that's how we have the 4 factorial. Now, there's no repetition here, so I'm not dividing by anything. Okay, and then times, how many vowels do we have here? 3 vowels, so that would be 3 factorial. Now, would I be dividing this? No, because there's no repetition inside the vowel. So, this will become 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and then times 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. Alright, 4 times 3, 12, 12 times 2, 24, 24 times 3 should be 72, 72 times 2 should be 144. Now, if the equation says, in how many ways can this be arranged so that the vowels will be together? The answer is 144 ways. But that's not what the equation is saying. The equation is saying that you don't want the vowels to be adjacent. It says, such that no two vowels are adjacent to each other. So do you know what we do? Here's it. The no restriction means you can arrange it anyhow. Vowels together means you can arrange the vowels as one single thing. But now, you don't need the vowels to be together. No two vowels should be together. What you have to do is to then subtract this. Because if you know what if the vowels have to be together, this is the number of ways. When you take it away from this, that means you will find how many times the vowels will not be together. Because it's very simple. This word, the vowels are either together or not together. So to get not together, you always do this minus this. So not together, vowels, not together, not together. This will become 720 ways. Take away 144 ways. And can I really subtract that straight ahead? Yeah, I think I can. This will give you 576 ways. Alright, so that will give you 576 ways. It should be. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to question number 8. So question 8 says, in how many ways can the letters of the word pata pata be arranged? So we have pata pata. I don't wonder what this is. Alright, so first thing is, how many letters are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 factorial. Divided by, we have repetitions of course. So let's look at our P. So P is 1, 2, that's 2 factorial. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 factorial. T, 1, 2, 2 factorial. Alright, so to expand this, 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Divided by 2 factorial, 2 times 1. 4 factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Then 2 factorial again, 2 times 1. Now everything here is the same thing here, so they will cancel out. They will just cancel out. Next, 2 here is 1. 2 into 6 is 3. 2 here is 1. 2 into 8 is 4. So what will be left is 4 times 7 times 3 times 5. Alright. 7 times 3 is 21. 4 times 5 is 20. So 21 times 20 will give 420 ways. So yep, the answer is going to be B, 420 ways. Remember to hit the subscribe button. See, these videos, I assure you that if you learn how to solve them, in fact, here's what I always do. When my exams are closed, at that very point, any question I see, what comes to my mind is, how do I attempt this question? So if you're watching this very video, try your best to make sure you are thinking of ways, oh, how would I solve this if I get this paper type? How would I solve this? Because if you do not get this, you have something very similar to this. So try to solve yourself so that on the day of the exam, you can solve and not guess. Do not guess mathematics, please. Let's move on to the next question. Question 9 says, divide 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 5x plus 6 by x minus 3. So this is long division. So this is question 9. Now I'm going to write it this way. So we have 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 5x plus 6. This will be divided by x minus 3. Now when you're doing long division, you only divide by the x. So 2x cubed divided by x will give us 2x squared. Then next thing we multiply. 2x squared divided by, we multiply. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times minus 3 is minus 6x squared. Then we subtract. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. Minus 5x squared minus 6x squared is x squared. Because the minus here is plus. So minus 5x squared plus 6x squared will just give us x squared. Then let's bring this guy down. Minus 5x and plus 6. Now x squared divided by x will give us x. Then s times x, s squared. S times minus 3, minus 3x. Then we subtract again. S squared minus s squared is 0. Minus 5x minus 3x will give us minus 2x. Because basically what this is saying is minus here will give us plus. So minus 5x plus 3x is minus 2x. And you bring down your plus 6. Minus 2x divided by x is minus 2. Then minus 2 times x minus 2x. Minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. Then you subtract and get 0 because they are exactly the same thing. So the answer to that question is going to be B, 2x squared plus x minus 2. That will be the answer to that question. Let's move on to the next one. Question number 10. What are the roots of the quadratic equation 3x squared minus 9x equal to 0? Now here's the thing. Anytime you have a quadratic equation, it's a must. Your answer must be 2. The root you get must be 2. So in this case, let's factorize. So you look at 3, you look at 9, 3 is common. Then look at s squared and look at x is common. Then you open up a bracket. 3s squared divided by 3x will give you x. Then minus 9x divided by 3s will give you 3. And this will be equal to 0. Now, if you are multiplying two things and the answer is 0, it means any of them could have been 0. So 3x is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now here, I can divide both sides by 3. So x is 0 over 3, or x is equal, this minus 3 can go to the other side, so then become ordinary 3. So this will be x equal to 0 or 3. So the answer to that question is C. That is the answer. Let's move on to the next one. Question 11. Remember to pause the video and try to solve this question. Find the probability of getting an even number in a single throw of a 6-faced die. Now, those of you that play Ludo, one of them is a die. So that Ludo has 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So probability of picking an even number will become, how many even numbers do we have here? This is 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 even numbers. Divided by, how many numbers in total? What are the possible numbers we could get? We could get 6 numbers. So when you cancel out, 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 6 will give you 2. So the answer for that will become 1 over 2, which is B. Let's take a look at the next question. So the next one says, a bird flies. Many of you, when you see this question, what comes to your mind is skip. You just say nest. So a bird flies from a tree on a bearing of north 60 degrees east to a building Q, a distance or at a distance 200 kilometers. It then changes course and flies to another tree, R, on a bearing of south 30 degrees. If the tree arrow is directly east of the tree P, calculate the distance of the building to the tree R. Now, when it comes to trigonometry, the perfect sketch, if you can get a good diagram, you'll get your answer. So let's kind of draw this. So a bird flies from a tree. So let's say this is the tree. So this is our tree. So it flies from a tree on a bearing of this. So the tree, bearing of north 60 degrees. North 60 degrees east means this is the north. Remember, your north is always this one. And this is the east. So from the north, move 60 degrees towards the east. So you're moving from here, you start moving towards the east. It says 60 degrees. So this angle right here is 60 degrees. So from here, you count down to 60 degrees. So that's what we have. Okay, so this will be our next point, and that's how it's going to be. So a building Q, so this will be Q. A distance of 200 kilometers, so we have 200 kilometers. All right. It then changes course and flies to another tree. It flies, let me see, to another tree, R. So to another tree, R. So this is the building. And then it flies to another tree, R, that is south 30 degrees. So this is north, below it is south. So it's going to fly towards the south. So we have kind of like something like this, because it says south 30 degrees. It does not put a point here. But then, if you look at the next language, it says if the tree arrow, this very tree arrow, is due east, because from here, that means this will be south 30 degrees east. I don't know if you get. That's what it's going to be. So this is what we have. Sorry, this was a wrong placement. This is the east. So from the south, I'm moving 30 degrees. Yup, from the south, we're moving 30 degrees, so this will be 30. All right, this is the right diagram because it says southeast. All right, so this will be arrow, the tree arrow. So the tree arrow is directly east, so that means it's going to be like this, directly east. Yup, so this is the tree arrow, it's going to be directly east. So this is what we have. All right, that's nice. Okay. Now, if this is 60, this other angle here is going to be 30. This other angle here is going to be 30. But then if you look at this, if this is 60, this means that this other angle here also has to be 60 degrees because we're dealing with what? We're dealing with alternating angles. Look, so this angle here, this will be alternative. 60 degrees is here, 60 degrees will also be here. So this is alternate angles. Now, the sum of angles here will then become 90 degrees. So the sum of angles there will become 90 degrees. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the question to see what they're asking us. So we have to calculate the distance of the building. So this is the building to R. Okay, so first the angle right here will be 30 degrees because if this is 60 here, it has to be 30. And then it's going to be opposite. So this is opposite to this very angle. Then this is hypotenuse and this will be adjacent. Now, why is this hypotenuse? Because this is the 90 degrees here. So this is the 90 degrees, so this has to be the hypotenuse. All right, so going by this, the opposite is what we're looking for. So let's call it K. We're looking for the, what's it called? The opposite. All right, so I'm going to say this is O and this is A, so that's tan. So tan theta is opposite over adjacent. So we're going to have tan 30 degrees is equal opposite to that very angle is K divided by the adjacent is 200 kilometers. Now, I could put over 1 here and cross multiply. So K is equal to tan 30 times 200 kilometers. And then tan 30 is 1 over root 3. It's 1 over root 3. So times 200 kilometers. So this will be 200 over root 3 kilometers. So that will be the answer to the equation. Yep, that's what the answer is going to be. I don't want to rationalize, that's why I use this one. I know you will be asking that tan 30 is root 3 over 3. Yes, it is. But I looked at the option and I was like, this will be the convenient one to use. If I had used this one, I would then still have to rationalize, making the video longer. So anyone could be used, but you just have to then be solving extra. So the next one, question 13. Hold on. Did I skip a question? Oh, this is question 12. All right, so question 13. Question 13. The angle of elevation of the top of a vertical mast from the point on the ground level 300 meters away from the foot of the mast is 45 degrees. How high is the mast? Okay, it will just still be the same value, around the same value. Okay, so first of all, the angle of elevation, so there's a mast, so a mast is always straight. Of course, it's going to be on a horizontal ground. So, the angle formed when you look at it from the ground, the angle right here is 45 degrees. Okay, so from a point on the ground level, so this point here is the point where the angle is 300 meters away, so this is 300 meters away, is 45. Okay, so it says how high is the mast, so you're asked to find h. Now if this is 45, this is definitely 45. So this forms an isosceles triangle. So it means if here is 300, this will still be 300 meters. So the answer is going to be what? C. That's the answer. Let's just move on. It's very, very simple. So that's the answer. Question 14. In data representation, the 75th percentile is known as dash. Okay, let's take a look at 75th percentile. This actually means 75 over 100. That's what it means. 75 over 100. A percent is 100. Now, if you cancel out, 25 into this will give you 3. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So this will become 3 times, you could write this as 3 times 1 over 4. So this is then 3 times 1 over 4. So this is 3 times, this very 1 over 4 you see here is quarter, is a quarter of something. So this will be the same thing as the third quartile. So that will be the answer to that very question. That will be the answer to that very question. It's going to be the third quartile. Okay, question 15. Question 15 says, the chord of a circle of radius 17 cm is 30 cm long. Calculate the distance of the chord from the center of the circle. So first of all, let me draw my circle here. Yeah, let me just draw it here. I don't want to waste so much space. So this is a chord, this is a chord, this is center. Now it says that the radius is 17. So from the center to the circumference is 17 centimeters. Because radius is always from the center to any point on the circumference. Next, the chord is 30 cm long. So the length of this is 30 cm. Then let's find the distance of the chord from the center. So there will be a straight line here. Yep. Now this straight line would cut the chord in 2 equal parts. So if the chord was 30, 2 equal parts means this would be 15 cm, this would be 15 cm. And we're asked to find h. What does this look like? It looks like Pythagoras' theorem. So Pythagoras says hypotenuse squared is equal opposite squared plus adjacent squared. So the hypotenuse is 17. So that's 17 squared. Opposite could be any of them. It doesn't really count. Because Pythagoras says the square of the longest side is the sum of the squares of the other two sides. So this would be 15 squared plus h squared. Does not really matter which one you pick. So 17 squared is 289. Equal 15 squared is 225 plus h squared. Now I could take this 225 to the other side. So this will be 289 minus 225 equal h squared. 289 minus 225 is going to be 64 equal to h squared. Now to take out this square, you take the square root of 64. So square root of 64 will give us 8. So that means the height is going to be 8 centimeters. Alright, let's take a look at question 16. I want to maximize the board. So question 16 says, calculate the volume of a cube whose length is 3 centimeters long or 3 centimeters. Remember, if you've not yet hit the subscribe button, if you've not yet commented, you're not, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it across to everyone. So, volume of a cube. In a cube, all of the sides are equal. All of the sides are equal. So it's always length times length times length. But you can call it length cubed. Now, the length is 3. So this will be 3 cm times 3 cm times 3 cm. Now 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Centimeter times centimeter, centimeter squared, times another centimeter, that will be centimeter cubed. If you look at this option, there was something they did though. In the option, some of them had square, some of them was centimeter square, some were centimeter cubed. Be careful. So the answer is going to be C, 27 centimeter cubed. It's not going to be D. D is centimeter square. So be very careful. Can I solve question 17 here? I think I can. If I can't, I'll move to this part. So just follow me, please. Question 17. The interior angle of a polygon is 4 times its exterior angle. So I'll write it this way. Interior angle is equal 4 exterior angle. Okay, so I can do it that way. Now, what I will do next is, we were asked to find how many sides the polygon has. So I'm going to write it as interior angle equal 4 exterior angle. The next thing you need to remember is, interior angle plus exterior angle must always give you 180 degrees. Now, the interior angle is already 4 exterior, so I could remove this interior and put 4 exterior angle. Plus the exterior angle equal 180 degrees. Now 4 exterior angle plus another additional exterior angle will give you 5 exterior angles equal 180 degrees. Now to get the exterior angle, we're going to say 180 degrees over 5. And to be honest, do I know what that would be? That should be 36. So that's 36 degrees. It has to be 36. Now, to get number of sides, n. Number of sides is always 360 degrees over the exterior angle. So this will be 360 degrees divided by, the exterior angle in this case is 36. 360 divided by 36 is going to be 10. So it has 10 sides, or you could say it is a decagon. So that will be the answer to question 17. Let's move on to the next one, question 18. Question 18 says, in the diagram above, angle PRS is equal 50 degrees, angle RPQ is equal 30 degrees, and PQ is equal Q arrow. You're asked to find the value of angle PRS. So the first thing I always do is, I will try to locate where PRS is. So let me use another color for that. So PRS, so this is P, this is R, and this will be S. So that's this angle right here. So let me call that very angle X, because we're asked to find that very angle PRS. Now, the first thing I will take note of is, these two lines here mean that these two lengths have to be equal. And this is a triangle. If this is a triangle, it has to be called an isosceles triangle, because two sides are equal to each other. So it means two angles would also be equal. So if 30 is here, following the direction of the line, this angle here would also be 30. Good. So this is what we have. But the next thing I want to find is the angle that is at Q. So the angle that is at Q, remember that the sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to 180. So I'll say 180 minus, I will remove this 30 and also remove this very 30. So what will this become? This will become 120. So that means the angle at Q is equal to 120 degrees. Now, if the angle here is 120, so this is 120 degrees now, can I find this opposite angle to it? Yes. Remember that in a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. So if opposite angles are supplementary, it means they add up to 180. So what number do you think must be here so that when I add it up to 120, I'm going to get 180? That very value is going to become 60. Because when I have 60 degrees here, and then add it up to 120, I'm going to be getting what? 180. Or you could simply say 180 minus 120 will give you 60. Now we have this. And then finally, the triangle is complete. We have x here, 50 and 60. So to get x, all we have to do is to say the sum of angle must always be 180. So since we already have 50, we remove the 50. We already have 60, we remove the 60. So when you are done subtracting, this should give you 70 degrees. Yup. So that will be the answer to the equation. So the answer is C, 70 degrees. Let's move on to the next one, question 19. If the second term of an arithmetic progression is 5 and the fifth term is 14, you have to find the eighth term of the sequence. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So for an AP, the nth term formula is A plus n minus 1 bracket D. That's the nth term formula. So it says the second term, so n will be 2. So second term will be A plus 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 times D is D. So this will equal to 5, because it says the second term is 5. Now, how about the next one? It says the fifth term. So this will be A plus 5 minus 1 is 4. So 4 times D is 4D. And this will equal to what? 14. So first of all, let's find the A and the D. Now I could use elimination method here. And then I will say subtract both equations. Subtract both equations. Because A minus A is 0. So let's subtract it. Now this will be 14 minus 5 equal 4D minus D. So 14 minus 5 is 9. 4d minus d will be 3d. Now you divide both sides by 3. When you divide both sides by 3, what would d become? D has to be 3, right? Because 9 over 3 is 3. So d is equal to what? 3. The next thing I will do is to put d equal to 3 in equation 1. So equation 1 is 5 is equal a plus d. So this will be 5 equal a plus d is what? 3. Now when you take the plus 3 to the other side, what would you have? You're going to have minus. So 5 minus 3 is equal to a. So this is 2 because 5 minus 3 is equal to what? 2. So that's the value of a. Now the equation says find the 8th term. Remember that this is the nth term, right? So 8th term will become a plus 8 minus 1 is 7. So this will be 7d. So this is the expression for the 8th term. It's very important. So our a was 2 plus 7 brackets. D is what? D is 3. So this will be 2 plus 21. So this will be 23. So that will be the answer to question number 19. Alright, the next one, question 20. You have to find the sum of the first 20 terms of the sequence. So we have, sorry, that's a series. 2 plus 5 plus 8 and just like that. Okay, so we're asked to find the sum of this. So first of all, what would be our a? What would be our first term? That's 2. If you look at this, this has to be an AP. Because whenever you add 3 to this one, you get the next one. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. So the common difference is what? 3. Good. Now we're asked to find the sum of the first 20. So n is equal to 20 terms. Now, the sum of term formula for an AP is n over 2 bracket 2a plus n minus 1 bracket d. So our n is 20 over 2 bracket 2 times a is 2 plus n is 20 minus 1 and then d is 3. Now 20 over 2 is 10. 2 times 2 here is 4 plus 20 minus 1 is 19. So you're going to have 19 times 3. Now this is equal 10 brackets 4 plus 19 times 3 is 57. So this is 10 brackets 4 plus 57 is 61. 10 times 61 is 610. So that will be the answer to question number 20. The answer is going to be C. So that would be the answer. So let's move on to the next one, question 21. So it's a continuous number. I didn't break it. That's why I'm saying 61 because I prepared so many questions because there are going to be different types. Those who write in the morning, those who write in the evening are all going to have different questions. So that's why I had to get all of them for you. So question 21. The locus of points equidistant from 2 points, x and y, is dash. So it's the first one says A circle with x as center, B, a straight line parallel to line xy, C, perpendicular bisector of the line xy, then D is a straight line passing through the point y. Now, the question is, there's a point x, then there's another point y. Hopefully, if I don't make a video about this, I would put the theorems, all the theorems for locus beside the screen or somewhere in the screen when I'm editing it. So I'm going to put the theorem so you understand what it is. Then if there's enough time, I might explain. So I don't want to make this video very long. I might just make a separate video on locus. So these are the 2 points that we have. The question is, what will be the points that will be equidistant? The word equidistant means of equal distance. So the distance has to be equal. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I need to pick up points that would be the same distance from this. First of all, of course, there should be a middle. Because that middle from here to here is the same as from here to here. But then that middle can actually extend. It can actually extend. Because each of these points that I've drawn, distance from here to here is the same as here to here. So there's a name for something like this. There's a name for something like this. This very thing is called a perpendicular bisector. Because now, when you form the line xy, This line you see here is a perpendicular bisector. So the answer is going to be C. It is a perpendicular bisector. To bisect means to divide into two equal parts. So it's a perpendicular bisector of the line XY. That will be the answer to the equation. So next, question 22. A binary operation is defined on the set X equal to this. You have to compute whatever. Please take notes. When you have a question like this, you are concerned about the definition. A operation B is equal AB plus A plus B. Most certainly, for your level, you won't really be bothered about the set. Now, the set, what that set means is, any number I want to pick as A and B has to come from these numbers. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, we have to compute 1 operation 3. So A is 1, B is 3. So anywhere you see A, you're going to write 1. Anywhere you see B, you're going to write 3. So this will be 1 times 3 plus 1 plus 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So the answer of this will be 7. So that is the answer for that very equation. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now for this next one, question 23. Question 23 says, if the mean of the numbers 0, x plus 2, 3x plus 6, and 4x plus 8 is 4, you have to find the value of x. First things first is, how many numbers do we have here? So 0 is 1, s plus 2 will be another 1, 3s plus 6 is another 1, and then 4s plus 8, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 numbers there. So the sum of those numbers should be equal 4 times, okay, let me put it this way, the number of your numbers times the mean. I don't know if you remember, in the first series, I showed you guys that when you're having an average, the sum of everything you summed up, the sum of everything you found the average, it's always how many things you summed up times what you got as the average. So in this case, there are 4 numbers, and then the mean was 4. So the sum of the numbers should be 16. So what this means is when we add up everything, when we do 0 plus s plus 2 plus 3s plus 6 plus 4x plus 8, we should be getting 16. That's what it means. We should be getting 16. Now, even if there's no 0 here, even if there's no bracket, even if there's no bracket here in the equation, always know that because the s plus 2 was written together before a comma, it's taken as one number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 numbers. And the average itself, the mean itself is 4. So that was how I got the 16. Now let's just say s plus 3s is 4s, 4s plus 4s is 8x. And then 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16. That's weird. Equal to 16. So this will be 8x equals 16 minus 16. So 8x is equal to 0. Definitely x will then be 0. That's weird. Okay. So the answer for that is going to be 0. So let's go to question 24. Question 24 says, if m is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and p is equal 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then q is 2, 5, you have to find m intersection p union q. So first of all, let's find m intersection p. So look at m and look at p. Intersection means what do you see common? What's common? So we have 3, because there's 3 in both of them, so 3 is common. Then, what else do we have? We have 5. 5 is common. Good. So it means what's common between m and p is 3 and 5. So we brought out that thing that's common. Now it says this answer you've gotten, union q. The word union means in togetherness, unites them. Write what is in m and p with q. So that means m intersection p union q would become everything in this matrix, everything in this set with this very set, but don't repeat anyone. So that would be 2, 3, 5. No need for you to write 5 again, there's no need. So this will be the answer to the equation B, will be the correct option. So the next one, question 25. You have to find the cardinality of the set perfect cubes between 1 and 30. So first of all, let us find the perfect cubes between 1 and 30. A perfect cube is just a number that you can cube to get a number. Oh, hold on, let me put it this way. When you cube the integers that we have, when you cube them, you're going to have an answer. So these answers that you get, we call them perfect cubes between 1 and 30. So it means 1 is not inclusive. So it's between 1 and 30, not from 1 to 30. So the first one we're going to have is 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is 8, because that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, yeah, that's 8. Next one is 3 cubed, so that would be 27, because that's 3 times 3 times 3, so that's 27. And then 4 cubed will be 64. So which of these answers that we've got, which of them is going to be between 1 and 30? It's going to be these two. Between 1 and 30, these two. So cardinality is how many of them? How many of them? So the answer is going to be what? 2. That's the answer. This is cardinality. Cardinality is how many members do we have in that set? So the perfect cubes between 1 and 30 are 8 and 27. It will be 8 and what? 27. The reason is not 3. I would have counted this very one, but it says between 1 and 30. So what are the numbers in between 1 and 30? So 1 will not be included unless it says both inclusive, but in this case it's not inclusive. So that's why we're going to have our 2 there as the answer, because we have only 2 of them. So let's move on to the next one, question 26. Question 26 says, find the amount at a simple interest on 600 naira at 4% for 6 years. So first, let's find the interest. Interest is PROT. So the principal is 600 naira times the rate is 4%, so that's 4/100, times the time is 6 years. So now 2 zeros we cancel out 2 zeros. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 6 should be 144. So this is 144. So this is the value of the interest. Now amount is principal plus interest. So you're going to add the principal amount. So that will be 600 plus 144. Now when you add this up, you should be getting 744. So that will be the answer to the equation. So that's C will be the correct answer. The next one will be question 27. So that's a fraction. So we have 3/4 divided by 2 over number 1/4 of 1 over number 7/11 into 3 over number 2/3 minus 15/6. Okay, that's easy, but it's just a little bit complicated. So this will be 3/4 divided by, let's change this. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So this is 9/4. Of means times, but let me still leave it like that. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. So this will be 18/11. And then for this one, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11/3. Then take away 15/6. Now this will become 3/4. I could change this divide to times. So this is 4/9. Of, so that's times 18/11 into, now over here, let me take LCM. So the LCM is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22. 6/6 is 1. 1 times 15 is 15. Now 4 can cancel out 4 here. 3 here is 1. 3 into 9 will be 3. Alright, so this will be 1/3 times 18/11 into 22 minus 15. That will give 7. If I'm not mistaken. That will give 7/6. So this is what we have. Now next, I would say 3 and 6 here. We cancel out 18 because 3 into 18 is 6. then 6 here 1, and 6 will then cancel 6. So what's remaining will become 7 over 11. And to be honest, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how the answer became 7 over 11. So that's it. The option does not match the answer, unless something is of course wrong, but that's how it will be solved. Yup. That's how it will be solved. So let's move on to the next one, because this guy is 11, unless there's another number here. Okay, the next one, question 28. And I look at this later on, because I've not looked at these questions. I've not really solved them, so I'll look at them again. So the next question says, a car dealer bought a used car for 270,000 naira and spent 70,000 naira to refurbish it. He later sold the car for 490,000 naira. What is the percentage gain? Now, for a question like this, the cost is always any amount, any expense incurred to make that very product marketable. So he bought the car at 270,000, so 270k. I think I'm just going to be using k. 270k. But of course, at the condition of the car, he could not sell it. So he had to, do some finishing touches and, touch here and there. So he spent 70,000 naira to do that. So that's 70k. Now, if you add this up, you're going to be getting 320k. Oh, sorry. 7 plus 7, 340k. So this is what you're going to be getting. This is your cost price. Now, his selling price, he sold it for 490k. So, of course, did he make a gain? Yes, he made a gain because this amount is bigger than how much he spent. So, our percentage gain will become how much gain he made. So, in this case, what is 490 minus 340? What would that be? That's going to be 150. So, that's 150. That's his gain, right? Because 490 minus 140 should give you 150k. Divided by what was his cost price? 340. And then times 100%. Times 100%. So that's what you're going to get. Now let's cancel out. This is weird. So 0 we cancel out 0. And then, gosh. You're going to make use of a calculator here, because nothing will perfectly cancel out. So 2 into this will give you 17, and then into this 2 here will give you 50. Then nothing will cancel out again. So let's take a look at the calculator. Now when you multiply this in your calculator, you'll be getting around 44%. Yeah, that's what you'll be getting. So there's no correct answer. According to the option, there's no correct answer, which is bad. Because there was a similar question like this in the past years. They repeated something like this, but the answer was in the option. So in this case, I think in a bid to change the way the question was, they then messed up with the numbers and did not put the correct answer in the option. Okay, like I said, I don't know. Just pick the closest one. Closest one in this case is 43. Because I don't think JAMB has the conscience to give you a free bonus mark. Okay, next one. Next one says, multiply 22 base 3 by 121 base 3. You must leave your answer in base 3. So that's question 29. So this is easy. So we have 121 times 22. Now 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. But we're in base 3. So what's 4 in base 3? You convert 4 to base 3. This will be 1 remainder 1. So you have to write 1. Write your 1. Then carry this very 1. So 2 times 1 again is 2. Plus this very 1 that you carried is 3. So convert 3 to base 3. This will be 1 remainder 0. So you write down your 0, carry 1. But there's nothing else for you to add up, right? So just put your 1 here, since there's nothing else for you to add up. Now, this is 2 again. Remember we've times by 2 before, right? So we have to times by 2 again. No need to repeat the same process. Since it's the same number, just put these numbers the same. 2, 1, 0, 1. That's just what it's going to be. So add this up. This will be 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So this will become 0, carry 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Plus the one you carry, that's 2. Then 1 plus 0, 1. Then put this very 1. And then this will be your answer, 11202. So the answer is going to be C. Question 30. Question 30 says, simplify. I think that should have been solved. So you have to solve z base 4 divided by z squared equal 1z1 base 2. I know that some of you just see this question and you're just going to the next one. You won't even bother about stressing yourself for it. Okay, well, let's solve it. So let's convert this to base 10. So this will be 0, 1, 2. So this will become z times 4 squared plus z times 4 to the 1 plus z times 4 to the 0 divided by here. This will be 0, 1. So this will be z times 2 to the power of 1 plus z times 2 to the power of 0 equal, on this side, 0, 1, 2. So this will be 1 times 2 to the power of 2 plus z times 2 to the power of 1 plus 1 times 2 to the power of 0. Now this will be z times 4 squared is 16 plus z times 4 to the power of 1 is 4. And then plus z times this guy, what this guy gives to us? 1. Because n to the power of 0 is 1. Now 2 to the power of 1 is 2 times z, let me just write z times 2 plus z times 1 equal 1 times 4 plus z times 2 plus 1 times 1. Just need to be a little bit fast. Now z times 16 will be 16z plus z times 4 is 4z and then z times 1 is z. Now z times 2 will give us 2z plus z times 1 is z. Now 1 times 4 here is 4 plus 2 times z is 2z and then this will be 1. Now 16z plus 4z is 20z. 20z plus z is 21z divided by 2z plus z will give us what? 3z. And then equal 4 plus 1 is 5. So this will be 5 plus 2z. Now here z we cancel out z. 21 over 3 is 7 equal to 5 plus 2z. Now can I take my 5 to the other side? Yes. So this will become 7 minus 5 equal to 2z. Now what's 7 minus 5? That will be 2 equal to 2z. Now to get z, what do we do? Divide both sides by 2. So this is 1 equal to z. So z is equal to 1. That's the answer you need to find. Alright, so that's question number 30. Question 31. You have to integrate y equal 4s cubed plus 2x plus cos x. Y equal 4s cubed plus 2x plus cos x. So let's integrate this. So we have to integrate every single thing with respect to s. So this will become 4x 3 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 plus 2x. This is an invisible one here. So this is 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. And then plus, if you integrate cos, you will get sine. So this will be sine x. And then you put a plus c. Put a plus c there. Now this is 4x4 over 4 plus 2x2 over 2 plus sine x. Let me see. Yeah. Plus sine x plus c. So 4 we cancel out 4. So this is s to the power of 4. 2 we cancel out 2. So this is s squared plus sine s plus c. So that is what we have as the answer to question 31. Question 32. It says that a varies directly as b squared. When a is 4, b is 1. You have to find a when b is 2. That's actually very easy to solve, but let me explain it the way you already understand. So a varies directly as b squared. So this means a is equal k squared. kb squared. So you move this sign, you put equal to write your k. Now they said a is 4, so this will be 4 equal k times b is 1, so that's 1 squared. So this 4 equal k times 1, so k is what? 4. Now the place or the position you originally introduced k was a equal to kb squared. So anywhere you see k now, put your 4. So this will be a equal k is now 4. So that's 4b squared. It says find the value of a when b is 2. So this is a equal 4 times 2 squared. So that's a equal 4 times 4. So a is equal to what? 16. So that's the answer for question 32. Let's take a look at question 33. It's a very interesting one. The cost of tilling a parcel of land T is partly constant and partly varies inversely or partly inversely as the number of men M tilling it. If the cost of tilling the land is 120 square meter for 4 men and 150 square meter for 4 men, find the cost if 2 men till the land. Do I have enough space for this? Yes, I guess I'm going to manage. Now the cost T is partly constant, so it will be equal to a constant, like there's a fixed amount, it's a constant, plus partly inversely as the number of men. So this will become B over M. Remember that whenever you see inverse variation, there's always an over. So that's why there's this over M here. Assuming they just said partly as the number of men to become Bm, but because it's inverse, it will be B over M. So this is what our formula will look like. Now, I could turn this around. I could multiply everything by M to make this Cm equal Am plus B. Because when you times here by M, M will cancel out M. So what we're remaining is just B. So what I did was to multiply every single thing by M. Remember, if you're solving, you can actually pause the video, try to understand what I'm saying, and then play it back. You can even go and take lunch, take breakfast, you come back to the video, pause and play. You are free to do anything you want to do. So it says 120 naira, so total cost is 120. For how many men? 8 men. So we have A again times, what is, how many number of men do we have in the first case? 8 plus B. So our first expression, gosh, this is a lot. 120 times 8. I'm just going to leave it like that, as 120 times 8 equal to 8a plus b. So this is equation 1. Just going to leave it like that. Then the next one is 150. So I'm going to do it again using this formula. 150 times the number of men, because T is total cost. So this will be 150 times the number of men is 4 in this case. And this will equal A times the number of men. So the number of men here is 4. So this will be 4a plus b. So this is equation 2. Now what do we do here? We're going to subtract both equations because it's going to be a simultaneous equation. So subtract both equations. Subtract both equations. Okay. So I'm going to do this minus this. Okay, you know what? Let me just times this. 12 times 8 should be around 96. Let me see. 12 times 8, yeah, 96. So this will be 960. Let me put this here, 960. Then this is 600. All right. So we're going to say 960 minus 600. 960 minus 600 is equal 8a minus 4a. 8a minus 4a. Now 960 minus this will give us 360. 8a minus 4a is 4a. Now to get a, divide both sides by 4. So 96 over 4 is 9. So this has to be 90 equal to what? A. Now that we have found the value of a, let's put this very number back into the second equation. So we'll say put a equal to 90 in equation 2. So equation 2 is 600 equal 4a plus b. So this will be 600 equal 4 times 90 plus b. So this is 600 equal 4 times 90 is 360 plus b. Now I could take this 360 to the other side. So this will be 600 minus 360 equal to b. Now this should give 240 equal to b. And then we've found our constants a and b. Now we're going to put these two numbers back into the original formula. So t is equal a plus b over m. So this will be t equal a is 90 plus b over m is 240. Oh, sorry, it's b that is 240. Don't mind me. So b is 240 over m. So this is the formula connecting t and m. Now it says find the cost if only 2 men till the land. So this will be t equal 90 plus 240 over, you need just 2 men. So this will be 90 plus 240 over 2, when you divide it by 2, you get 120. So 90 plus 120 should be 210. So the answer should be 210 naira. So that will be the answer to that very question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 34. Question 34 says, find a limit of y. You see, earlier on I was like, back in the days, I was like, JAMB have stopped setting limits, questions, and all of the rest. Now, allow you, they still set it. So here's the question. Question 34. You have to find the limit of this function. And let me just write it the way it would be. So that in case you don't see it this way, you will see it another way. Let me read out the equation first. Find the limit of y equal s cubed minus 2s squared plus 4x minus 12 as, over s minus 2 as s goes to 2. Now you can pause the video and try it out. There's a way to write this. In case you don't see it like this, here's another way they write the equation. They will say limit as x approaches to, you see an arrow like this, so it means s is going to 2 of s cubed minus 2s squared plus 6x minus 12 divided by x minus 2. So they can just say evaluate this. This is another way they write it. Now take note, what you're supposed to do is anywhere you see x, you're going to put 2. Anywhere you see x, you're going to put 2. But there's a problem with this. When you put 2 here, 2 minus 2 is 0. Denominator enough to be 0. It cannot be 0. You cannot have 0. So what we're going to do is, we're going to use differentiation here. Differentiate the top, differentiate the bottom. Differentiate s cubed, what would you get? This is a 1 here, so 1 times 3, that would be 3s squared minus 2 times 2 here is 4, so that would be 4x, and then plus 6. Divided by, differentiate the bottom one. This x here will just give you 1 when you differentiate it. The 2 is a constant, so it's gone. Now anywhere you see s here, you can now put 2. So this will be 3 bracket 2 squared minus 4 bracket 2 plus 6. This 3 bracket 4, because 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 2 plus 6. So this is 12 minus 8 plus 6. 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So the answer is going to be B. The answer is 10. And then most persons will say, because here is 0, when you have over 0, you now have an undefined expression. Then I come and say undefined or infinity. Please rest. The answer is 10. Question 35. Question 35 says, if the determinant of a matrix is minus 5, you have to find the value of P. So let's do it. So it says determinant minus 2, 3, 1, P, 2, 1, 1, 4, 2. The determinant gives us minus 5. Okay. So what I will do is, using any row or any column, so I want to use minus 2, 3, 1. So this will be minus 2. Eliminate the column, eliminate the row. What's remaining will become 2, 1, 4, 2. Make sure you revise determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. Then this very 3 will become minus 3 because it's always plus, minus, plus. So this will be 3. Eliminate this column, eliminate this row where 3. So all remaining is P1, 1, 2. Then this is plus 1. Eliminate this column, eliminate this row. What's remaining will become P2, 1, 4. And the answer of this is minus 5. Alright, so this is minus 2 brackets. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 times 4 is 4. Minus 3 into P times 2 is 2P, minus 1 times 1 is 1. Plus 1 into P times 4 is 4P, minus 2 times 1, 2, equal to minus 5. Well, 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 times anything is 0, so this side is gone. Minus 3 times 2p is minus 6p. minus 3 times minus 1 here is plus 3. And then 1 times 4p is 4p. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, equal to what? Minus 5. Minus 6p plus 4p is minus 2p. 3 minus 2 is plus 1, equal to minus 5. So this minus 2p equal minus 5. If this plus 1 comes, it's going to become minus 1. So you have minus 2p equal to minus 6. Now to get p, divide both sides by minus 2. So you have minus 6 over minus 2. So p is equal to 3. So that's the value of p. P is equal to 3. Next one, question 36. If I is a 2 by 2 identity matrix, find the determinant of the matrix. What do you think will be the answer? You don't need to solve. What do you think will be the answer? You don't need to solve. The answer is 1. Because determinant of any identity matrix, whether it's 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, as long as it is an identity matrix, determinant is 1. So let's move on. Question 37. So, just in case you're wondering, the I matrix is looking like this: 1, 0, 0, 1. This is I2, this is a 2 by 2 identity matrix. Then for a 3 by 3, it looks like this: 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So just in case you're wondering, the determinant of this type of matrices are always 1. Question 37. Find the equation of the straight line joining the point A at 5, minus 4 and B at 3, 4. So we have A at 5, minus 4 and B at 3, 4. So the formula is y minus y1 over x minus x1 equal y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is x1 y1 s2 y2. So this is y minus y1 is minus 4. So put a bracket there. Then x minus x1 is 5 equal y2 here is 4 minus y1 is minus 4 divided by x2 is 3 and then minus 5. So this will be y plus 4 over x minus 5 equal 4 plus 4 over minus 2. 3 minus 5 will give minus 2. So this is y plus 4 over x minus 5. 4 plus 4 is 8 over minus 2. Now this will become y plus 4 over x minus 5 equal 8 divided by minus 2 is minus 4. Now you can put over 1 here and then you cross multiply. So this will times this. So this is 1 bracket y plus 4 equal this will times this. So that's minus 4 bracket x minus 5. Alright, 1 times anything is that same thing. So this will remain y plus 4 equal minus 4 times x is minus 4x. Minus 4 times minus 5 is plus 20. Now if you look at the options, everything was made to be equal to 0. So everything here will go to this other side. So this will be y plus 4 plus 4x minus 20 equal to 0. This minus 4x will go over to become plus 4x. Plus 20 goes over to become minus 20. So this will be y plus 4x. 4 minus 20 is minus 16 equal to 0. So the answer to the equation is going to become A. That is the answer to the equation. The next one is question 38. Question 38 says, obtain the equation of a straight line passing through 3, 15, whose slope is 3 number 1 over 5. Now this is also equation of a line. And here's the formula. Y minus y1 over x minus x1 equal to the slope. The reason these two things are actually similar, the reason this formula is here is because they didn't give us the slope, they didn't give us the gradient. Gradient is the same thing as slope. But now they've given it to us, so let's put it in. So this will be x1, y1. So this is y minus y1 is 15 divided by x minus x1 is 3. And this will equal, let's change this. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. So this will be 16 over 5. Then we can cross multiply. So this will times this will times this. So that will be 5 brackets y minus 15 equals 16 brackets x minus 3. 5 times y is 5y. 5 times 15 is 75. So that's minus 75. 16 times x is 16x. 16 times minus 3 is minus 48. Now if you look at the option again, everything was made to be equal to 0. So I'm going to take everything to this other side. So this is 5y. If this 16x comes out to become minus 16x, now this is minus 75. It has already been on that side. Then this plus 48 will come over. Sorry, minus 48 will come over to now become plus 48 equal to 0. So this will be 5y minus 16x minus 75 plus 48 is going to become minus 27. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will be the answer to the equation. So that will be C. So C will be the correct answer to the equation. Question 39. We're close to the end of this series. Remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it across to your classmates. Share it across to people learning your lecture, people that are in another state, because these are the JAMB 2026 exposed questions. All right. Question 39. In the table above, determine the upper class boundary of the modal class. So first thing is this. What is the mode? Mode is the number with the highest frequency. Look at the table. What is the highest frequency? Highest frequency is 10. So the range for that will become 21 to 30. Now, this range is not in a continuous form. It's not in a continuous form because if you look at the first one, it's 1 to 10. The next one did not start from 10 again. It not started from 11. So it's not a continuous set of data. When it's not continuous, what we do is very simple. For this part, because the difference between them is 1 unit. 1 unit. So we have, let me just show you why I say 1 unit. 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 30, sorry, 40. Okay, no, this is 21, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. Now, all of these are not continuous because after 1 to 10, instead of us to have 10 to 20, we're having 11. So there's a way to convert it. So to convert it, at the lower class, we subtract 0.5 because difference between 10 and 11 is 1. 20 and 11 is 1. So what is 1 over 2? 1 over 2 is 0.5. So to change this to a continuous set of data, we're not going to be subtracting 0.5. So this 1 here, 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. So then we add 0.5 here. So we minus 0.5 here, and then we add 0.5. So this will be 10.5. Then here, when you subtract 0.5, you get 10.5. So here, add it. This will be 20.5. So 20.5 to 30.5, 30.5 to 40.5, 40.5 to 50.5. So you see, it's not continuous. Anyway, this ends is where this will start from. Now, this is the range that has the highest frequency, which is 10. So what is the upper class boundary of that number? It's going to be 30.5. So the answer to that question is C. So let's move on to the next and the last question. Remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it to everyone. It says above is a distribution table of the marks. Oh, that's a weird language. So above is a distribution of the marks of 20 students in a mathematics test. You have to determine the median mark. So let me draw this table. So mark, frequency. Now it's important we also have the cumulative frequency. So 10 to 14 had 2 marks. Sorry, 10 to 14 marks were acquired by 2 students. 15 to 19 mark was acquired by 6 students. 20 to 24 mark was acquired by 7 students. 25 to 29 marks was acquired by 5 students. So cumulative frequency, let's write this first one here, 2. Cumulative means we're going to be adding I have to go and close that door. So the next one, the cumulative for this will be 7. sorry. 2 plus 6 will be 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 5 is 20. So that's how we do cumulative frequency. And it's just going to be like the sum of everything. Now, the formula for median is this. The lower class boundary plus the width or class width into n over 2 minus cumulative frequency before the median class divided by the frequency of the median class. I think I like writing it like that. So first, what is the lower class boundary? The lower class boundary is, we need to first of all get the median class. We need to first of all get the median class. Now, how many students do we have? 20 students in total. So, if there are 20 people in total, where would the median be? The middle. What is half of 20? That's n over 2. So 20 over 2 is what? 10. So 10 will become the position where we're going to see our median. Because we have to divide it into 2 equal parts to get the middle one. So let's add this frequency up to see where we're going to then get something that is above 10. 2 plus 6 is what? 8. It never still reach 10. 8 plus 7 is what? 15. Definitely it will be here. It will be here. So this means that this is our median class. Now, this does not tell us what our median is. This only tells us the class where we can go to and get our median. That's what our median class is. So what is the lower class boundary? Just like when we're solving this very equation here. This is 20. So what's 20 minus 0.5? That's 19.5. And then plus, what is the width? What is the width or this h here? 20 to 24, because I was doing it before for one of my students. So 20 minus 24. What would this be? This 24 minus 20 is 4. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So the class width is 5. Another way to know your class width is to write out your numbers. 20, 21, 22, 23, then 24. Now, how many numbers are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 numbers. That's the class width. Now, what's n over 2? N over 2 in this case is 10. Minus what's f1? That's the cumulative frequency before you got to the modal class. In this case, it is 8. Because remember, this is our modal class. So before you got to this very place, what was the cumulative frequency? 8. Minus, what's the frequency of the modal class? That's 7. Frequency of the modal class is, let me say C. Let me put CF so you know this is cumulative frequency. Or capital letter F. So FM here will be 7. So this will be 19.5 plus 5 times 10 minus 8 is 2. Then over 7. So this will be 19.5 plus 2 times 5 is 10 over 7. So this will be 19.5 plus 10 over 7. This will be one whole number. What will be remaining is 3. When you put 0 there, 30. 28. 28 over 7 is 4. Remainder will be 2. Add a 0. That's 20 over 7. That's 2 again. I think there should be 28 or around that amount. Now, when you add this up, you should be getting 19 plus 1 is 20. 5 plus 4 is 928. So approximately this is 20.93. Yep. So A should be the answer to the equation. So that'll be the last question for this very series. There are still more coming up. So remember to watch all of these videos. In fact, make this your, I don't think if you've been studying ever since, these videos will check how much you've learned. So make sure you watch this video, send it across to every single person on your contact list, and then let's get started with the next series. I'll see you there. Bye.